Hey y'all, welcome to the wrist tutorial with Leap Yoga. My name is who have not yet had the pleasure. Vinyasa yin teacher around here in the Ashtanga style, and I tend to put a lot of weight into my wrists throughout my practice, throughout my day, just because doing a lot of teaching and a lot of practicing, and the wrists take a lot of weight in the Vinyasa style. And so I thought I'd do a little tutorial on wrist management. So I'm going to do a little series of things that I do before each of my practices. And I try, even if I don't get to a full practice with a flow or big movements or stuff, I tend to still practice this wrist management stuff. So we're going to start on all fours as one would if you're going to cat-cow. Just find all fours, spread your fingers out wide, put a little bit more weight into your palms. We're just going to start with something basic. Just see about straightening out your arms, press yourself away, a lot of activation through the palms. Turn your elbows back toward you so the inside, the eye of the elbow is facing forward. And if you can, get your middle finger generally straight on forward. It's not a requisite, but can help the alignment in the wrists. So you've got fingers spread wide, palms reaching down, strong, straight arms, and just start to add a little weight forward into the wrist. Just start to press gently forward. I'll go sideways here. You can see where I'm going. Just a little adding forward. And if this brings any pain, go ahead and just draw it back. At any moment, if it's pain, draw it back. But discomfort, notice the difference. If it's a little uncomfortable in the wrist, maybe you can stay right there. Keep a steady breathing rhythm. And if this is all feeling okay for your wrist so far, maybe even add a little movement right to left, making sure that you're keeping straight arms pressing down into the palms. Just gentle back and forth, just getting the wrist joints lubricated, getting things loosened up. And then gently release. And you can sit back to a child's pose, maybe come down to your elbows. If it feels okay, maybe just sit all the way back, just somewhere for your wrists and hands to release. Take a little movement, shake them out. Nice. And then come back to your tabletop. This time, you're going to turn your palms face up, fingertips facing back toward you. Now, if you have tight wrists like some of us, you can do this one at a time. Absolutely. Just keep pressing all your fingernails into the ground. Again, see about straightening out your arm and turning your elbow back toward you so the eye of the elbow facing forward. If you're doing one at a time or both, draw your weight gently back into the wrist and maybe offer a little side-to-side movement if it feels okay. Just keep a steady breath. Still warming things up. And then when you're good and ready on that one, go ahead and release, either child's pose or sit back. Again, just some room for the wrists to recoil. Shake them out, let it be loose. Nice. And then our third round, again, back to a tabletop. This time you're going to keep your palms face down. Turn your fingers out and around back toward you so you get into the front of the wrist. You can do one or both at a time. See about straightening out your arms. And start to draw your weight back into your hips. Keep the pressure down into your palms. And again, if it feels okay, maybe a little right to left as you go. Keep a steady breath, just a couple more. Back and forth. And then again, as before, go ahead and release. Shake them out. Let it be loose. Let it be easy. Nice. And we're going to go fourth round here, back to the tabletop. This time, keep your palms face down. Start to turn your fingertips inward. And this is going to be really weird at first if you're not used to this motion. I'll do it from the side so you can have a little angle on what I'm doing. Turn your fingertips in, keep your palms pressing down, keep your elbows flexing out just as far as you can get them. So it's going to be like a weird pigeon toe thing with your palms. And then start to lift up and straighten out your arms. Now this might be as far as you go, just planting the hands there, elbows super bent. If you can, start to straighten out. And if that still feels okay, start to draw your weight back, keeping pressure into your palms. And you can try a little right to left movement if you've got the mobility in your shoulders and your wrists. For me, it doesn't go that far. That's okay. Just keep that pressure. Now, the reason we're doing this is there's a lot of twisting going on through the arm here. And if you do a lot of vinyasa or a lot of movement modality where you have your hands on the ground or even calisthenic workouts, at some point you will find yourself with this flexion in the wrists and the shoulders. And if you haven't yet practiced stretching this and strengthening these edges of mobility, that's where injury starts to occur. Just a couple more breaths here. And really gently release. Last time through, a little wiggle, a little shake. Nice. And so that's the stretching portion of the wrist management tutorial. Now we start to add in a little bit of effort to these stretches. Typically, those stretches are more static. If you're not moving around, it's a little passive range. Now we're going to add in a little active. So let's see, where do I even start here? Oh, yeah, that's right. So you're going to turn your palms face up, fingertips face in, plant them down just beneath your wrists, just beneath your shoulders, as you would in a tabletop, and then curl your fingers up and your thumbs. Nice. So it kind of looks like gorilla hands, planting the backs of your hands down, and then hinging on the base knuckles of your fingers, you gently rock yourself up so you're balancing on fists. Now again, you can do this one at a time and release the wrist down, and then bring it back up. And then the other side, release the wrist down, keeping the knuckles and the back of your hand pressing into the ground, and then bring it back up. And you can go nice and slow. Keep elbows bent so you have a little balance. A little bounce, a little wiggle room there as you press through the wrists. Nice. And if you're feeling really strong, or after doing this for a few months, maybe you eventually start to do both at the same time. Now, some people like to go nice and slow, take really good care of the wrists. If you're feeling really strong, or if you practice this for a while, you can take it a little bit faster. Just rocking on the base knuckle of the finger all the way up to the fists. Nice. And go ahead and release again, a little shake, a little wiggle. And come back to your tabletop, fingers flat, facing all forward, maybe spread out quite a bit. Again, any of these can be done one at a time. If you'd like to go two at a time, more power to you. Just lift up onto the knuckles. So you lift the heel of one or both hands. So you're lifted up. See if I can show this from the side. Lifted there. Nice, and gently release back down. Again, one at a time or both. Now you get 3 pumps of the wrist lifting, nice and gentle. Just start 1, 2, and 3. On the third one, hold, and then release them down for 3 seconds, keeping your thumb off the mat. 1, 2, 3. And then again, pumping 1, 2, 3, and slowly release 3, 2, 1. And take one more like that. 1, 2, 3. And releasing for 3, 2, 1. Keeping thumbs off the mat. Nice. And then release. Go ahead and give them a shake. A little wrist love. Let it be loose. Nice. And then come back to your tabletop as you were before. This time onto your fist, just like we did in this thing. Press onto your fists. They should line up just beneath your shoulders. And then bend your elbows back toward you and come onto the smashing part, the banging down on the table part of your fist. Just like that. So all your fingers are your knuckles are facing forward, elbows bent, and then just rock right back up over the pinky finger onto the fist. You can start like this, just a little back and forth, allowing the control and the strength to be in the wrist. So you keep your elbows bent, you're just rolling over the pinky finger. And if it feels okay, you can start to roll from onto your knuckles all the way forward over your pointer finger so that your thumbs almost reach down to the ground. You keep your thumbs tucked in nice and tight over the sides of the fingers, and you can roll all the way back, bent elbows. And start nice and slow, eventually building up to rocking from pinky side over the fist to first finger side, and then back. And take these slow, stay with your breath. Mindfulness keeps us away from injury. And then release, give them a shake, let a wiggle. And our last one for these active wrist strengthening works. You plant your palms down, fingers facing forward, and then lift all the way up onto your fingertips. Nice. You can still have a bit of weight back in your legs, back in your in your hips. You're just on your fingertips, straight fingers, bring them together, nice and strong, and then take 3 seconds to lower down the heels of your hand. 1, 2, 3. Bend your elbows quite a bit. You want to give a little bounce here and then straighten out all the way up to the fingertips. And slowly release. 3, 2, 1. And again, all the way up. 3, 2, 1. Now I'm keeping my weight pretty far back toward my hips and heels. Now, the more weight you want to add, just bring your shoulders forward. Maybe they're eventually coming straight down over your hands. Maybe eventually when you lower down, your shoulders come forward, just as you would make a push-up harder, right? You can bring your hands back next to your ribs, press up onto fingertips, and just start slow. Take it at your own pace. So we had a few stretches, had a few strengthening works. And just let it be loose. Maybe pull the wrist back, fold it over forward. Pull the wrist back, fold it over forward. Anything else that feels right to start your practice. And then from here, I typically come right up, build a downward facing dog, and worry about the rest of the body. But that was all for the wrists. Thanks for joining. Any questions, comments, concerns can be reached at Leap at the studio. Let us know how it goes. Thanks.